Let me turn this down so I can go to the 716 Live group. Grand Rising, Grand Rising, Grand Rising, everyone. You know what it is. It is the 716 Live morning show. Once again, we are here. Happy Monday, everybody. Happy Monday. Happy Monday, Jay. How are you?
What's good? What's good? I'm great. I am great.
Oh,
How are you?
I am doing great. I am still reeling off of the uh, upstate New York 2023 challenge that I went to in Syracuse. Big shout out to Sneak Vibe and Link and big shout out to you too, Jay, for even like putting it all together for us to be there. And man, it was amazing.
Yeah, shout out to everyone involved with that. Who was all involved with that? It was no, Live Gutter wasn't. They invited Live Gutter. They definitely invited us. Sneak Vibe Connected was out there. Shout out to Abby.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. So they put 716 Live in a group chat called Upstate NY Takeover, and they invited us out there. Well, they invited everyone out there. So, um, Upstate Cipher in Syracuse, I thought that would be dope for us to, see what's going on. I think the Bridge Upstate is who threw it together.
Yep.
Yeah,
Zach and Angel.
shout
Mm-hmm.
out to them. So who
Mm-hmm.
was all out there? My man King VVS was out there. I
Oh
seen Captivated C. Who else was out there?
man, King VVS, Captivated C, Low Key. Low Key was fire. There was this guy named, and I'm gonna butcher his name. It's like Advoc. When oh my goodness, Jay, I put them up on everybody. If you are watching, go to the 716 Live radio Instagram page. You can see. As a matter of fact, I believe I put it in the radio page on Facebook. His name is Advoc or something like that. He had on the anime outfit. When I tell you his energy was crazy, it was one person, but it was like 14 Mafia. You know how much energy 14 Mafia has?
Shout out
He
to Fort.
was he was Tay Wu. He was all 14 Mafia by himself. By himself. He was probably one of my favorite male acts. The females definitely killed it. Captivated C. I just prayers are over that baby because she has a powerful voice. She's
Mhm.
just powerful. She's like 4'11", 100 and maybe pounds, if that. In this voice, so powerful. She's captivating.
Right.
She really is captivating. A lot of other great acts out there. I got a lot of great footage, everybody. If you have not, check out the videos that I posted. Hey, good
Upstate Cipher in
morning.
Syracuse. Good morning. Top of the AM.
Yeah, it's actually finishing up now. So I tried posting it like 3 o'clock this morning. It's actually finishing now. The unity was crazy. I could not believe it. How much because people were stumbling. I don't know if it was some people's first time doing a cipher or what, but
Right,
why
right.
am I freezing like
Ciphers ain't easy, man. Ciphers ain't easy. Man, it's,
they
it's
were
on the
stumbling?
spot. Man, ciphers ain't easy. That's
Man,
why I
Jay,
respect anybody that hops in those.
they were definitely stumbling. How was your? I want to go back to ask you this also because as they were stumbling, like
Mhm.
I've gone to a rap battle before, and it was like more booing than anything. Like if you stumbling, you just like get off the stage. It's
Oh
like
yeah,
a follow.
yeah, yeah.
But it was not like that out here.
Right,
It was
right, right,
it was like you got it, you
right.
got it, you
It's a
got
different
it.
atmosphere. Yeah, definitely a different atmosphere.
It was definitely different. It was definitely different. Good morning, John Booth. Good morning, Saint Soprano. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for
Saint Supremo, what up? What up?
yes for tapping in. So I'm still reeling off of the energy from that. Just being amongst all of those artists. People had traveled from New Jersey. I spoke to people from Brooklyn. Traveled all not just around the state, but all around the place. Binghamton, Ithaca. I think it was Utica. It wasn't just Syracuse, but what Zach did say, and big shout out to Buffalo, is that one of the main reasons why the event jumped off, because there was definitely over 100 people out there, all of us in a circle, definitely over 100 people. But he said it's Buffalo. Like, Buffalo is what made this event jump off the way it did.
Mm.
So what they want to do is bring the event to Buffalo, and the ideas he have, man, I just felt like it was 90s back in the days, and everybody out there doing their thing like this, you know. It was dope, Jay. It was definitely dope. So, in your experience, what have ciphers been like for you? Because that was I get a rap battle and a cipher are a little bit different, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, like you mentioned, the energy is gonna be way different. A battle. They want to see you mess up. They want to, they waiting for that one little word, syllable, anything. Like, you got to be 1,000% on point. Like, ciphers is the atmosphere. It's just what you said. It's a lot different. Like, they want to, they're more supportive. They're more it's more uplifting. You know what I'm saying? And then uh switching the different beats and the different artists hopping in. I mean, once in a while you might get someone that's trying to hog the beat or something like that, but in general, it's more uplifting.
That happened a few times.
Oh yeah.
That's funny. You said that happened a few times, and then people were also, I don't want to say afraid, but probably
Right.
intimidated
Yeah,
because,
yeah, definitely.
there
Like I
was.
said, it's different. It's different than anything. It's different than battling. It's different than performing because even though I believe they listed the beats on there, but man, you only get one shot. It's not recording. It's not it's not rehearsed for the most part. You're in front of a bunch of people. You have no idea what's going on. Like, it gets it gets a little wild.
Yeah, it was definitely wild. It was definitely real.
Yeah.
I loved looking out and seeing like Abby and King VVS, Duca De Niro was up there. They both went up there and performed and did their cipher, and we were all out there just rooting for them. You hear Buffalo, Buffalo, especially when Captivated C got up there. Man, I think everybody felt proud to be
Yeah,
from the
she's
716.
monstrous. I love her abilities.
Man, you see her going places.
Hmm.
Definitely. She's definitely her. I got to meet her mom up there. Her mom kept on saying, "That's my baby. That's my baby." Definitely can't wait to get them on the pink couch. I invited both of them up to the pink couch. John Booth said there's always got to be at least one beat hog. Yeah, there definitely was. There were some people who were trying to go. Zach kept on trying to say, let everybody get a chance. Everybody get a chance. John Booth, I think you were up there. John, were you one of the ones that performed? Looking at your picture, it looks like you were one of the ones that may have performed. But definitely people were trying to go 2, 3, 4 times before one person got a chance. Again, it was the event that it was in Syracuse, the upstate New York takeover. I hope that they find a venue here in Buffalo. They want to have it outside because I was like, we can bring in 716, but they want to have it outside. Which I get the energy that they're trying to do. It reminds me, what they're trying to do now kind of reminds me of Wu-Tang. Everybody standing outside, puffer coats on. They want the snow to be coming down. I see the vision. I see the vision, Zach and Angel. I just hope that you guys can find an event to house that thing, because if people drove that far for the event that was in Syracuse, imagine where they will come for the event in Buffalo.
Right, right.
When I got to talking to people and they were like, they were from the Bronx, they were from Brooklyn, New Jersey. There were people that drove there. The one guy that I was talking about, Advoc, I believe is how you pronounce his name. He drove all the way from Brooklyn, 5 hours, he said, just for that event. Just for that event. So listen, Buffalo is up and coming. I say keep bringing the energy, everybody. Y'all did a wonderful job. There were definitely a lot of Buffalo artists out there. A lot. Just the energy was crazy. The energy. It looked like something out of an anime. Like we were in a circle with stairs. The stairs were like brick or stone stairs, But it was all in a circle, and we were like in an arena. It was
Nice.
beautiful, but weird. And everybody just was all together, and they did the videos. I'm sure the upstate bridge will have some footage on their social media pages as well. And if you go to the Facebook page, our Facebook page, the radio page, you'll see a lot of the ciphers in there. I apologize, everybody. I thought it had posted. I called myself posting it at 3 o'clock in the morning, but it just posted less than 5 minutes ago. But that was dope. That was dope. I can't wait to go to more things like that. There's an R&B event that's going on that Sneak Vibin told me about. We connected so well. She's so in tune. I love that we have a relationship and there's no hate. Like, we are just supportive of each other. She was so happy that you had even, just the support. 716 Live is a media company. Sneak Vibin, she's a media company in her own right, but we can still work cohesively together. Connected Magazine, same thing. It was still all love. It was still all love, and just feeling grateful that we could even be amongst that type of energy. I know I was. I was definitely grateful about that.
That's what we do here.
Man, Jay.
Shout out to Dime Dada. She had her event. Layla and Lola was out there. Laylo, they were out there.
I love Laylo. I love Laylo. I have not seen any footage from that yet. Have you heard anything about it?
Yeah, I caught a couple clips of it. Of Dime Dada performing. They had a lot of kids out there, bounce houses. It looked pretty nice.
That's dope. When she had came up to the 716 Live studios, we had a chance to kick it. I love what she's doing. Like, she's really giving back from her heart. Just even the way that she came up with that event, like she said, sometimes she didn't know how she was going to do it, but still came through. That's the power of our Father God, y'all. That's the power of our Father God. Even at the drop of a dime, even when we don't know how we're going to make it works, especially when you are giving back, because we are here to be of service to the world. Like, our healing is for somebody else. And when you are doing things like what Dime Dada did, it's going to work out because you are doing it from your heart, and you are doing it not in a selfish way. You're doing it to help other people. She had kids coming out there who may not have been able to afford haircuts, getting free haircuts, because I know as a mom of 6, sometimes it was tough, especially when you have 3 sons and each haircut $40. That's $120 real quick. And then on top of that, 3 daughters, that might be a $65 each hairstyle. So big shout out to Dime Dada, and big shout out to our Laylo. I love Laylo. I can't wait for everyone to see what they have coming down the pipeline. Why am I keep freezing like this? They don't want me to be great this morning, but that is all right. I'm still
shout out to them. Also, shout out to the newest addition to the 716 Live Network, 716 Men's Podcast.
Oh yeah.
They had their pilot episode. What was that? The day before yesterday?
Saturday, the same day. The same day. Talk about tag teaming. The teamwork. I loved their visual, Jay. That was amazing compared to what it looked like on Instagram. And we had this conversation with them. Like, aesthetically, you can tell the difference, the quality. Everybody, listen. We get it that you want to do your own thing, and you think that you got it, and maybe some of y'all do, but sometimes you need a little extra guidance, a little extra oomph to help bring your platform to the next level. If you go on 716 Men's Podcast and you look at the show that they just did on Saturday, you can see while they were in the studio, it was beautiful. The aesthetics were beautiful. The background was beautiful. You could tell the difference. Why am I free? Am I still freezing on your side?
No, you good on our side.
Okay. I don't know why it don't want to give me no love, but that is all right. That is all right. So let's get into some news, everybody. So there was a deadly earthquake in Morocco, and I'm just going to get into that right now, everybody, because we do have to report on some of the news. I also want to talk about. I also want to talk about just not being afraid to go out there and express yourself. Like it took a lot for those artists to go out there and do that cipher. I have a feeling because some of them were nervous, very, very nervous, that it might have been their first time doing something like that. And just from speaking to some of them, I know that it was their first time doing something like that. I just want to encourage anybody today, Monday, if you have been sleeping on yourself or afraid to do something because that false evidence appearing real, Saturday Cipher, it definitely reinforced in me to chase your dream. There were over 20 people out there doing exactly that. Like I said, there were people that drove, you know, hours away just to be a part of that cipher. And the energy that it left them with, I feel like it probably, it was like a battery pack for some people. Like it put that fire in them that they needed to say, you know what, I am pretty good at this, or you know what, I can do something like this. One of the gentlemen that I spoke with had mentioned, he said, and I actually interviewed him. There's a snippet of the interview in there. He said one of the things that he was able to do, that even as he was faltering himself, he was able to learn from the other people around him. He was able to get, different things from the other people around him. And I feel like, and although I am not an artist, I am a person who's into doing shows and podcasts. I watch a lot of podcasts just to get that experience or to see what other people are doing so I can learn from them. As an artist, Jay, now I'm asking you to put your artist hat on.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever been in a cipher or any type of battle where you were able to learn from other people as well? Is that something that you want to do, like you would want to do, is learn from other people?
Well, I mean, me personally, I learn from any and every moment of life. So,
Mm.
that's just instilled in me. Period. Regardless. But in a cipher and in a battle, I would hope that any artist would take the position of learning from that experience because, whether you came out, however you look at it, whether you came out on top of the situation or maybe you stumbled a little, either or, there's always something to learn from it. I know, like, for instance, for example, for me, I learned that um and some people aren't gonna like this, but I learned that if I'm gonna perform somewhere, I'm performing with my lyrics in the background. My lyrics will be on that track if I'm performing somewhere, because I learned that that works out better for on the fly performances. Now, if you got a situation where you get to rehearse and it's like well put together, then you may not want your lyrics on in the background. But if it's like on the fly or they don't really have a sound system that a real setup, you want your lyrics on there because it's a fallback. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes the mic volume ain't right. Sometimes it's just a bunch of different variables that takes care of. So that's something I learned from listening and watching back footage of people recording me when I'm performing, and then battling. Same thing. If you got your opponent or whatever, and they say some things that might have caught you off guard, or maybe you said some things that you saw the crowd react a certain way to a certain way that you were saying something. And so you should always be learning when you're doing things just to elevate.
Yeah, and you watch your. I go back and I watch my shows because I learn that's the only way I can know what I'm doing well and what I have an opportunity to improve. Have you always been like that? Have you always gone back and watched your shows to learn from them?
Uh, no, I think just with rap, I think when it came to performing, me personally, like I never really listened to my own music. I never, even with 716 Live, I don't, to be honest with you, no one killed me, but I don't really watch the shows back. I don't. I just, I don't know what it is. I think yeah, I'm not even sure. I definitely don't watch them back. I don't know, but in the process of doing the shows and producing them, I'm learning on the fly, like during that moment. But I don't go back.
Yeah, I started going back. I used to when I first started doing my podcast back in like 2019. I feel like I started it not consistently. I would never go back. Even my motivational videos, I would never go back and watch, just because I felt like if excuse me, if I went back and watched it, that I wouldn't put it out because I have this way of picking myself apart. I know maybe some of you aren't like that, but I do have this way
That's
of
a good
picking
thing. I think that's
myself
a good
apart.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so I would never have put it out, but now I'm okay with going back and watching it. But a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people, I think, more often than not, people do not go back and watch their stuff. Like I've heard people say they don't go back and listen to their music. They don't go back and watch their videos. A lot of times it's like that. I guess it's our minds. Just you know how we can get as humans. We are so hard on ourselves, everybody, and we shouldn't be, but we are. I guess it's just the way of the world. We just it's just a way of the world. So
Right.
today is actually September 11th.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, yeah. Do you remember where you were, Jay? When September 11th, 2001.
Yeah, actually, I do remember. I was at home watching the news when that happened.
Mm,
Like the news would be on in the morning or whatever, and I remember watching the joint and seeing like they was talking. I don't know. I don't remember what they was talking about, but they had the thing. They had the city as the backdrop, and then the plane had went into the building, and you know that was crazy watching that because even the newscasters and they looking around like, is this real? Like, what is going on right now? It
yeah.
didn't seem real. Like it took a minute to understand that was really happening.
Hmm. I agree. I remember that like it was yesterday. I can even remember like the weather and everything. Were you still in high school when that happened, Jay? Like some of my kids weren't even born yet. My babies weren't born yet.
I don't even remember what year was that.
2001. Yep, 9/11/01.
Crazy. That was '01.
Yep, that was '01.
That is crazy.
Yeah, I was late for work that day, and I can remember getting in. I hadn't even really taken my jacket and stuff off. I remember sitting sitting in my cubicle, turning on the radio. I don't even think that the radio was on 15, 20 minutes before it was like breaking news. A plane has hit the towers, has hit one of the twin towers. And I remember sitting there thinking, now what fool then ran into the twin towers? Like what was the pilot drunk or something like that? Like I can remember all of these things going through my mind. And then it felt like time has stopped. And then, WBLK, I was listening to WBLK. WBLK is reporting again. Now another plane has hit. And now it's like, okay, wait a minute, something is going on. And we still don't know what it is. And then when it went to that third plane went to hit the Pentagon, that's when good morning, bro. Good morning, Big Mike. That's when we knew something definitely was going on. Big Mike, do you remember where you were? Because you're in the city. Do you remember where you were or what you were doing when 9/11 happened? We are talking about 9/11 right now. It has been 20, oh my goodness, over 20 years since that happened. And
Crazy, man.
yeah,
That's crazy.
it
That does not
changed
seem like it
everything.
was 20 years ago to me.
Hmm. It definitely changed everything. It changed the way we do business. It changed the way we bank. I remember prior to that, you did not necessarily need an ID to open up a bank account. or any type of investment account. You can just open
Isn't
it up.
that's what started the Homeland Security, right?
Yep, that's what started it. That's what started it. I remember because 90% of my jobs have always been within not a bank, but the corporate office of a bank. And I can remember the ID requirements that changed, and then we had to start looking at the money laundering. A lot of the compliance tools that we use now came about because of 9/11. Like the AML, they started getting real strict with and AML just stands for anti money laundering. You see a lot of banks have since left the Americas or the States, because what they found was a lot of these banks had accounts that were funding these terrorists, a lot of accounts that were funding these terrorists, everybody. So when you go to the airport now, also, you see that like all of that
I
came
was gonna
from
say
9
it changed the
11.
way we travel.
The way we travel, also. I can remember being able to go in the Buffalo airport and see the planes go by. My cousin would travel from Detroit, and we would be able to go. I remember being out on the tarmac to see him get off the plane. I remember all of that, being able to do that, to see him get off the plane. We would go to the plane and wait for him to come down the stairs. I can remember standing in the window waving the planes off. Now you can't even get that way. You can't even take a bottle of water open. I think, what is it, 8 ounces, I believe, is it has to be under 8 ounces, or 11 ounces is the requirement. Oh, Big Mike said I was walking my son to school. Oh my goodness, Big Mike. I would love for you to come on via audio if you can, just because you are in the city, to talk about your experience firsthand, because it's different. We were hundreds of miles away in Buffalo, but you were actually right there in the city. Big Mike is from Brooklyn, so he's in one of the boroughs. I would love to send you the link if you have time to come on via audio and just talk about your experience with us. Let me know if you can. Just send me a message, and again, you don't have to come on screen, just via audio. And anyone else out there listening, if you want to come on and via audio with us and just talk about what you remember about 9/11, or even if you remember it, maybe you learned about it in the history books, which is crazy. Like my older daughters remember, but none of my sons really remember. My older daughters, they remember. My oldest definitely remembers. She remember being sent home, and that entire week school was let out. Like and because I worked at the time, I worked in one of the tallest building in Buffalo. We couldn't go to work for about a week because of that, because they weren't sure if the terrorists were planning on attacking like all the large buildings in the States or not. Like, we just didn't know what was going on. It was definitely scary. I can remember the news stayed on 24/7 in my house because we weren't sure. I remember sleeping in the bed with my kids because, again, we weren't sure. Like, America was under attack, and that was our first time, at least in my lifetime, experiencing something like that. Prior to that, it was the Pearl Harbor bombing, but like, it was definitely different. Jay, do you remember? Were you scared at all? Because you definitely were younger. Do you remember how you felt, or even if you were affected at all, or your parents affected at all?
My Some of my families in New York. Um,
Mm,
how I was affected, I wasn't really something about myself. I don't really get scared or feel anything, to be honest with you. It was just something that I noticed, and I thought it was, unfortunate.
mm, yeah, you it was definitely different. I remember, and Big Mike, I'm sending you the link right now. I'm about to text it to you. I remember for the first time in my life feeling not safe in the States. Like, before, we would see war and all of that, but not it never affected us in the
Right.
States. Like that was something that just did not happen. But I remember being afraid to send my kids to school. Big Mike, I just text you the link. I remember being afraid to send my kids to school, just being afraid,
Mm.
not sure what that would look like, or if there were going to be attacks in other states or even in other cities, just not
Right.
being sure at all. That was different for me. Um, we lost some people in the towers as well because we had offices. Some of you may not remember, but that was a huge financial district down there. That was a okay. Big Mike is coming on to join us. Yeah, to talk about his experience. So, and if anybody else out there would like to talk about your experience with the with 9/11, we're going to tap into that until for the next few minutes, and then at the top of the hour, we're going to get into the discussion that we put in the chat. So let me bring Big Mike to the stage. Grand Rising, bro. How are you this morning?
I'm good. I'm good. How you
Top
been?
of the AM.
Yeah, I am great. I am great. Introductions real quick. Jay, this is Big Mike. Big Mike,
Mike,
this
what
is
up?
Jay. You're familiar. So, Big Mike, you were in the city at this time. Talk to us about your experience. Like, how was that being in the city at that time?
Oh, that was crazy. That was crazy. That
Do
was
you
real
remember?
crazy. Yeah, actually, I got up that morning. I was taking my son to school, and you kind of smelled like a bunch of burning matches in the air. It smelled like sulfur.
Oh, wow.
It
Now,
smelled
how
like
many?
everybody in Brooklyn just lit up a box of matches.
Wow. Did
It was
you
crazy.
now did the smoke get that way? How many miles away are you were you from the Twin Towers?
Well, I'm in Brooklyn, right off the bridge, so I wasn't that far. You figure maybe 2 miles.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
wow. Do
it's
you
crazy.
remember the chaos and all of that?
Oh yeah, because you would the buildings were like still falling, and like all the emergency vehicles was like still racing into Manhattan and everything like that. So the people coming back across the bridge, you didn't see that to maybe like a good 20, 30 minutes into it. Everybody's trying to come back. They stopped the transportation coming back into Brooklyn. So if you made it back into Brooklyn, you came across the bridge and you kind of looked like a ghost coming back across that bridge. It's like
Wow.
everybody got hit with a bag of flour.
Mm.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Wow. We were over 400 miles away, and I can remember that unsettling feeling for me at that time. My kids were still young, all of them were still in school, and I can remember just having this feeling of just fear. Being that you were in the city, what did that make you feel like? Especially you were taking your son to school at the time. Did you experience any type of fear or anything like that? Because it changed the way you lived in New York, definitely, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, everything was like under scrutiny. I mean, everything was second guessed. When I went to pick up my son, everybody was unprepared because nobody knew what it was. They just called you. Hey, come get your child. Come get your child. We don't know what's going on, so everybody's running in the
Mm,
street looking for a kid. And all these pool of kids. I mean, you would have to actually run and go find your kid,
really?
or your kid would try to find you, and that was the craziness about it. Nobody was prepared for anything, like that to happen.
Yeah.
It's like kind of catching you with your pants down. It's a surprise. Hey, this is what's
Yeah.
going on, and we're not prepared. And that kills you a lot of times. These cities, They're big, but they're not prepared for anything.
Mayor at the time, Mayor Giuliani, I remember having so much respect on how he was able to just spring into action. He was able to do what he needed to do for the city. That's a different Mayor Giuliani, or maybe it's the same Mayor Giuliani, but we're just looking at him in a different light. What are your thoughts on him? What on how he proceeded to take action there and now?
Yeah, I mean, as for him being a mayor, he's great, but he's two people. He's a mayor and then he's a lawyer. You know, so him being the mayor with the emergency response type thing, that kind of went over good. But like I said, everybody was like surprised that even happened. So that was like out of nowhere. So how can you be prepared? You could be a mayor, you could be a president, you can be whoever you want to be, but if not prepared, you're just not prepared.
Yeah.
And how would you be prepared for something like that? You know, it's like me coming into your house and you don't know. You just don't know. I got a Mack truck and I'm coming in your house.
Mm-hmm.
So how would you be prepared? You wouldn't be.
Yeah. How do you remember how long that burning smell and how long the city, because it seemed like it was months. I know the cleanup took.
That was like you talking a good 6 months, good 6-7 months to a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, someone's
it looked like something out of a third world country. I mean, you see how the concrete is all built up and buckled over and sticking out the ground, and it's crazy. I used to work in Two World Trade in 89. Xerox, 3-level B. So you would have to go 3 levels down, you know, when I was working there. So you wouldn't stay down there that long, but they used to have to pump the air down there. So you would catch like nosebleeds. So I switched so I switched to a Xerox in Yonkers and Main Street. And then I went to the Larry Holmes building in Pennsylvania, Eastern Pennsylvania. But they had, you know, they was getting ready to like close. It seemed like they was getting ready to close those businesses down that was underground, because you know they tried to knock it down in '93 and they didn't. You know, they couldn't do it.
You mean like Timothy McVeigh?
No, it was where they tried to knock it down in '93. They put a van of explosives in the parking lot, in one of the underground parking lots.
I remember that. That guy was from.
Yeah, and that went off, but it didn't do anything to the buildings. That building would have to be demoed. That means you would have to go from the bottom up a couple of floors. That's why you heard when they were saying they had explosives coming from the bottom all the way up to maybe the 5th or 6th floors. That stuff was planned. That was done by a demolition expert. And for you to break a pencil, you would hold the point and you would pluck the eraser to knock it down. And that's what they did to that building. They blew the bottom. They needed something to hit the top to bring it down.
Oh, wow.
That's why you heard a lot of emergency people that made it out. We heard the explosions from the bottom all the way to the 5th floor. So all of that stuff was demoed from the bottom to the 5th floor to weaken it. It's just like me kicking your legs out and then knocking you in your head. You're definitely going to fall. You're definitely going to fall.
I can remember. Do you remember it coming down at all, Jay? Do you remember what I can remember it looked like a bunch of Legos to me. Like it just surreal.
Yeah, because if you notice it, the bottom it's falling. It's collapsing from the bottom. That's why when they had the emergency response, people getting caught from the bottom. The top didn't actually fall yet. It's imploding, so it's coming in. It's coming inward. So you're getting
Mm,
the top to bring, infuse from the bottom. But the bottom was already blowing.
yeah. So
Being that everybody's
face
looking at the top, nobody's looking at the bottom.
at the bottom. Yeah, what we see now is Rudy Giuliani's true self. I would agree with that. And Trump did make a lot of these politicians show who they really are.
Right,
It's
right.
always been there. Yeah.
Yeah, he
I,
did. He definitely did.
do you feel like he made it okay for them to and not afraid to be who they are?
I mean, it brought out their true colors.
Mm,
You seen what the agenda was. It was just for me to do something, I would have to have something else, right? Because how would I go after Bin Laden and then wind up with Saddam Hussein? Do I really know
mm,
who I'm going after? And just like the
mm,
man said, why would you send a $30 million missile into a $10 tank and you don't know
mm.
who's in it?
True. True.
So who am I looking for? Or what am I doing?
Huh. What about your son? Was he affected at all? Did he understand what was going on?
He did,
It made them
and
comfortable to pull the white hood off. Yeah, I agree.
he did, and yeah, and that made a lot of kids, a lot of people, not trust the process of what's going on. It made everybody just question anything and everything, you know, with a distrust. It's like I'm not gonna trust you first and then question it later.
Mm,
So a
yeah.
lot of New Yorkers you got like that. I mean, people that's coming in now, they really don't know, but the original New Yorkers, they kind of know and they don't trust anything. That's why they question everything.
Mm, and I remember Bush. I don't know if you recall when they told Bush um, he was at a school that day, I believe, and his face just I don't know. There's so much of a conspiracy to 9/11. Everybody, and I don't want to get
Yeah,
a shadow ban, but
Mm.
what do y'all think as far as some of the conspiracy theories that you hear?
I believe it was just it was like a scapegoat movement to where
Mm,
I need something to happen for me to do something else I need to happen. It's like
Right,
I said,
mm,
why would you go after one person and you wind up with somebody else?
right.
What are you actually looking for? What are you actually doing? But I need for you to get on board to what I'm doing. So
mhm.
I need this to happen in your area. It's like a gang, right? I'm looking for a guy in your area, right? So I'll go mess with somebody in your area just to find that guy. But the
Mm,
guy is not really in your area. He's somewhere else. I just need your motivation, your backup, and your people to back me for whoever I'm looking for. It's a
yeah,
scapegoat movement,
yeah.
So I need the people to be on board with what I'm gonna do. So I go somewhere where these people are more, you know, sensitized to where, hey, I'm gonna mess with this. So what I'm going to do is about what just happened.
Hmm. What are some of the conspiracies that you all heard, Jay? I know I heard that, and just looking at today's climate with the fentanyl and all of that, I heard some of it had to do with the poppy seeds with the poppy plants that America wanted to control that, as well as the oil. What are some of the conspiracies that you heard, Jay, if any at all?
I heard a lot of different conspiracies. It's hard because I think what people forget to understand is that, and it's some of this may sound like a conspiracy, but it's not. Is the simple fact that like we're regular people under in this population, like we don't understand the inner workings of the human beings at that level. Whether it's government, officials, billionaires, like we don't understand how they move the chess pieces around the board So it sounds like conspiracies when it's really just they're really just doing these things. Like,
Mm.
we view each other with much more value and respect, even though we could use more, but we view each other as humans with more value and respect than the people at the top level of the society, how they view us. They view us like just pieces that they're moving around for control and money and stuff like that. So like things like the World Trade Center and other situations, some of that stuff is not far fetched. Those conspiracy theories, like what Mike was mentioning earlier, like I feel like anyone that looks at that other than a controlled situation is just being fooled. It was clearly televised. You can clearly see the buildings falling the way they did. You can clearly see the explosions coming out the bottom of the building. It doesn't need to be fabricated. You can see those things. Now the story and the narrative they put out, that's up for anyone to believe or not believe. But some of those things are, you can clearly see it with your own two eyes. And then the
Yeah.
whole thing that he was just mentioning about they got Saddam and they celebrate. I remember what's that dude named?
Osama
Bin Laden. Bin Laden.
Nah, Geraldo. Yeah, but
Oh,
Rivera.
I
yeah.
remember them going live and him hopping on the tank, like, yeah, we about to go get him right now. It was like a 24-hour like campaign. They thought they was just gonna go in and do what they was doing. I remember that. I
Right.
remember watching that. They had the night vision on and all that. It was on
hmm
CNN, and they went
Yeah.
in there and the whole thing was like they come out with Saddam. Like what did that have to do with anything? And the way they celebrated, like they did something. Like, yeah, we got the mass destruct, weapons of mass destruct. It's like, come on, man, this is crazy that people fall for these things,
Yeah.
but that's what they do.
Because
That's what media does.
I don't know if you remember, the
Fake.
owner to Trade Center 2 weeks prior, he
Right, that
just took
too.
out a policy
That
for
too.
terrorist insurance. Now, in 40 years, if you owning these buildings, now you need terrorist insurance.
What?
Right, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like I was just
Yeah.
saying, that like what he just said, that's not conspiracy. Like that's all record.
Now,
That happened.
now I already know in any given day you have at least 20,000 people that works in one tower. So in two towers, you got over 40,000 people, right?
Right.
Now that day, only 3,500 people out of the two towers were there. So that's come on. Somebody
Right.
said something, nobody came to work. I know it was a voters' day that day because I was gonna go vote. Um, at that time, what was it? Yeah, and then take you said the planes. You was mentioning the plane. Okay, they said 3,500 people died within the two towers, right? So you're reading
Mm-hmm.
off 3,500 names. Weeks prior to that, you see what was supposed to be the pilots walking through those airports that pilot those planes that hit the Trade Center.
Mm.
Okay, all right. Now they pretty much got whatever evidence they saying of the people that died, because all we seen was like maybe a handful of people. If you was to really count it, you wouldn't count more than 20 people that died that they can prove, right? Because you would be finding more, like DNA and stuff like that in the rubble. They wasn't finding that.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody got their family members, remains back. They never said anything about it.
Mm.
Okay, once again, 3,500 people died, right? What about the five planes? You're not reading off nobody's name on those five planes. And you mean to tell me only one person on those five planes called their loved one and said, this plane is going down? I love
Yeah.
you. I'm not going to see you anymore.
Yeah.
So nobody else on those five planes had phones?
Yeah. Someone said, I remember 9/11 like it was yesterday. It
Yeah.
shows Facebook user. Who does it show on yours and who that is, Jay?
No, it just says Facebook user. So yeah, anybody that's watching, you can click on the link above the live feed, the StreamYard link. It'll allow you to show your name. But
Yeah.
if
It's
not,
like,
you can
it's
say your
crazy.
name when you write your comments.
And they don't
Yeah.
read off, none of these people that was supposedly be on these planes.
Oh, good morning, Dambriel. Grand Rising. Yeah, I I remember like it was yesterday. Also, someone else said can't push conspiracy. Facts are
Right. It's
evidence.
it's hard because the media pushes conspiracies of their own and
Yeah,
disinformation and causes
right.
confusion. So it's kind of difficult to differentiate between what's conspiracy and what's facts because a lot of it what a lot of what we do is we'll take in information and because it's a trusted source to us, we'll assume it to be facts. So
Hmm.
unless you were there, unless you saw it, that's why I said some of the things you could see with your own two eyes. Like it was a live feed on multiple news stations when it happened. You can see how the buildings were falling in a demolition manner. You can see what planes went where. Some certain things you could see with your own two eyes, and to be honest with you, sometimes you can't even believe your own two eyes. So it's hard, you know what I'm saying, to discern between facts and fiction sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my father was in the Marines and he was a demolition guy when he was there in Vietnam. He told
Right.
me, he was like, you see how that building is going? It was blue from the bottom.
Right.
And then you got, like I said, you got emergency workers in there saying they're
Right.
getting explosions from the bottom while they're
Right.
running
Right.
in. It's just like you guys running in, whatever building that has floors. So now I start blowing the building while you're going up the floors, taking out the stairs while you're going up. So is that being hit from the bottom or from the bottom where you're standing? So any floor you're going up, the implosion is coming from under your feet.
Right.
That's not at the top yet. That's from the bottom. You're just getting caught in the middle.
And
That's
then
why
the
these
the
emergency workers couldn't turn around and come back down.
yeah, and then even let's talk about the first responders. One of my sisters was actually a first responder, and she still has issues because of that. Because remember,
Right.
those early days, they didn't even have the right equipment.
Nope. Nope.
That
I mean,
was
you
that's
had,
another thing with what's his name, the mayor, Giuliani.
Hmm.
That was one of the things about him. Again, I'm not in New York, but what I heard was one of the issues was the way they were handling the health issues with the emergency
the
responders and
first
people.
responders, exactly. It
Yeah.
was, that stuff, like I said, it was over 40 years old. Those buildings were way over 40 years old. And back then, that stuff was built with a major part of asbestos.
Right. Right. Right.
And
Mm.
that's all was in the air. So imagine you running
And they
through a
were covered
factory
in it,
with
breathing
nothing
in it.
but these microorganisms of who God knows what. They didn't
Yeah,
even know what it was, and this stuff was shutting down your lungs.
Hmm.
early too. Like my sister got sick early with. She still has issues
Hmm.
with her lungs based on that.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow,
That stuff was
that's
so toxic. It was crazy.
yeah, yeah. It that was our first experience with terrorism to that magnitude in the States. Do you feel like on a personal level that it changed how you looked at the world? Like we are not untouchable.
To me, I mean, I don't really trust anything. I never really did. But you just got to go through there like prayed up. I'm not scared because you can't be scared of two things. You can't be scared of what's down here and scared of God too. So
Mm.
you're
Yes,
either
I remember Lackawanna 6. Mm-hmm.
right. You're either scared of him or you're scared of what's going to happen.
Mm.
So you can't be scared of the not knowing. So what are you scared of?
Right. Right.
Mm.
I agree with that.
Yeah, it didn't change how you moved. So the Lackawanna 6, everyone, for those of you who do not know, it was around 2005, 2006. They, again, Lackawanna is a very we have a huge Muslim population. And I say that to say the Lackawanna Six were 6 members of the community, where they went into it was an abandoned store. It was apartments, and it used to be a like a corner store when I was a young girl. A corner, but it was not opened a lot. That's the other thing. And they found a bunch of weapons in there. It was all over CNN. You can actually Google Lackawanna 6 and you can find more information. But what we found is that they were recruiting a lot of the people that we went to school with, people we went to school with. They were recruiting them to be terrorists as well. And they used religion to do this. Everybody. So oh man, it's just so much to it.
Yeah.
It's just so much to it. Like that was definitely weird to know, because now unfortunately our Muslim community did get the side eye a lot because of things that were not even in their control. Like that's like blaming all Black people for something. Like you can't blame all Muslims just because of what happened.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you don't, like I said, then do you have any proof of it? Because like they were saying, like, months later, oh, the same guys that flew these planes into the tower, now they're walking through another airport. So was these planes drones? Did these guys really fly them? Obviously not, if you got them walking through another airport. And then, like I said, why are you reading off 3,500 supposedly be people that died? Wasn't it with the 5 planes together? Come on, that's more than over 3,500 people. What about these people in the manifest of all these planes? You never read their names off, and you never do. So were they on these planes? Did these planes really crash? Why you never seen the crash sites anymore? And the biggest one was supposed to have been the Pentagon, right? What happened to that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of different information out there.
Yeah, you get bits and pieces of what I'm gonna give you, and then I'm not gonna say it anymore. So you got to look at it. Was it relevant? Was it true?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, they were sending them over there into training camps to be terrorists, and they were using religion to back them up to say that this was something that they should be doing. I want to. Do you want to stay for the next topic, Big Mike? We have a juicy topic that we're about to be talking about as far as men and women. I don't know if the music is going to be coming on or not.
I'm all
but we have so our other co-host D'Amica had came up with this topic, and it was about the struggle that women have with submitting to the male energy. I think it's a great topic. So let's discuss it, everybody. Let's talk about what does submission look like for you, Big Mike? Let's start for you. Let's start with you. What does that look like for you as far as dating?
That's not a compromise. That would be like me just giving in. There's no compromise. I know that.
There's no compromise. Do you believe that there should be roles? Jay, do you believe that there should be roles? Like one person should be submissive as far as the man, and we're talking about man-woman relationship right now. Do you feel like that should be a thing? Like the woman should submit to the man?
No, I don't. I feel like whatever works for the two people that are involved with each other, they need to figure that out on their own, and that's that.
Yeah. So someone said,
I feel like that too, but not to cut you off. I feel like that too, but I'm more of a old school Bible dude. I think the woman, should. I'm not gonna say play a role because that's kind of hard, but like Jay said, whatever works, but kind of like stay in line. I'm not even gonna say like, wear the pants type thing. But just be the woman. Just be the woman. You
Yeah.
know, kind of like don't try to step in where the guy supposed to be. You know,
So we put
I
a
don't know.
poll in the group saying, as a woman, do you find it difficult to submit to a man? So 31% voted yes, 18% voted no, and 51% said it depends.
I,
Mm,
I was definitely one of those that said it depends. I don't have. I'm old school also. Like I do not have. As long as you don't get in the way of my dream, I am just someone who naturally does that. And it's probably because of how I saw my mom. Like my mom was very submissive. And not even submissive, they just had their roles. My stepfather had his
hmm.
role and my mom
There you
had
go.
her
Yeah,
role. Yeah,
exactly.
and like I'm comfortable with that. A lot
Yeah,
of women aren't comfortable with that, but I'm very comfortable with that. Just don't get in the way of my dream. That is my only
right,
thing. Don't try and make me be somebody that I'm not. I am an intelligent woman. I
right,
have an opinion. Don't try and downplay my opinion. It's that type of
right,
stuff. The
right,
submission is not a problem. Like heck yeah, I'm gonna cook you something to eat. Like I love doing stuff like that.
right,
That's just the
right.
woman in me. I want to play
Exactly.
that
Be
role.
be be the woman. Don't try to get up under the car with me. You
Yeah,
know, I mean, you
I
want to
don't want to
bring me
be
the
under
hammer. Don't try to bang the nail. You know, stuff like that. I'm like, yo, what are you doing?
the
Who's
car.
trying to fix what I'm trying to fix? And then you're in my space now. Now you're in my space. You
I don't.
know, yeah.
Yes.
What should be blue? Come on, you got to look in pink. Nothing. Not just nothing wrong with pink. Yeah, I love some pink, but
Hmm.
certain things shouldn't be pink. You already know. So
I remember you saying that about our set. Remember?
yeah, right. Yeah, I'm like, yo, what's going on? I'm
I
like,
don't know.
oh
Are
man.
are you old school? And not even old school. I guess that's kind of traditional.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Are you traditional in that way?
Me personally, no, I don't think so. I'm pretty, I don't know what you would call it, maybe hybrid, I guess. I'm flexible. You know what I'm saying? Like I said earlier, like you got to do what works with you and whoever. Sometimes I could be submissive and I could be dominant. It depends on the situation. For instance, I can't cook to save my life. So if I hop in the kitchen and my girl can chef it up, yeah, I'm to your service. You tell me what to do right now. But
Wash the dishes.
yeah, I will watch the
Yeah, right. Yeah.
dishes. But and then, like Mike was saying, if I'm stepping up under the hood and you don't know the first thing about cars or whatever, then you need to follow my lead. But
Yeah,
vice
you know, they
versa,
like push
if I'm
that,
dating a
pull that.
mechanic, if
What's
she's a
that?
mechanic,
Come on, get back.
if she's a mechanic, and I'm a computer head, hey, you tell me what tool you need me to grab you. You know what I'm
There you
saying?
go.
So it all depends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do agree. A man should earn a woman submitting to them. So often I see, and this is one of the issues that we have, especially as Black women, because
Mhm.
we don't have a lot of options as far as dating. A lot of times when we are trying to get the man and keep the man, we turn into this housewife. And they haven't even earned that. Like you haven't even earned me being that type of woman to you or for
Right.
you. But a lot of times because we're trying to capture that man, or not even capture him, just show them that, oh, pick me, pick me, pick me. We fall into that line. And if anybody is out there listening right now that would like to join the conversation, put it in the chat. We can send you the link, and you can hop on and talk with us, or even start the conversation in the chat. What are your ideas? So the poll said, what was it? 50% said it
Fifty
depends.
percent depends. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a real like there's a whole it's a complex issue with that because going off what you just mentioned, like it's hard because of the way society is right now, in our culture. You got strong independent dominant women or whatever that are very successful And then you got situations where, you know, a lot of men are growing up lost because, you know, they're fatherless or whatever. So they're lost and leadership is missing. And, you know, the women step up, and then that kind of makes a man that is supposed to be in a leadership role but lost, that's going to make him feel less of a man, and that's going to cause all types of issues in the relationship. So it's I think it's a bigger issue than what it may seem like. There's a lot of different moving parts with that.
I mean, over the years, I came up with a kind of test for that. If she can spend 8 hours in Home Depot with you, she's a keeper. If you can go 5 hours with her shopping and not complain, you're a keeper.
That's the percentage.
You already know that's shoe, bag, some type of Victoria's Secret, Bed Bath and Beyond, something else, hair stuff, hair products. You already know something else. Lingerie shopping. Like my mom used to say, you know, you got to go in that haberdashery store. I'm like, what? They don't even make stuff like that with no one. Well, you already know you got that for me, so you good. I'm talking about these other fellas around here. They don't know. You know, you've been going to get my stuff for years. A&S boy, you know what you do.
Not his wife. Yo, whoever made the last comment, just, you know, state your name so we know who it is.
Yeah.
But they said, why play housewife if you're not his wife? That's the problem with a lot of women.
It's
they
not
cater
even
to
about
men
playing
before
housewife.
they
It's about knowing each other's needs.
Treatment.
You know, the concern of the other person's wants. You know, like if she can go to a car dealer with you, right? You already know what you want. The fastest and brightest thing you want to see.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a truck. You already know we truck heads. Come on, you know, we see a truck. Yo, let's get that. I'm ready to go. How much is it?
Some women we run into that issue though. I agree. Why play housewife if you're not his wife? That's the problem with a lot of women. They cater to men before they become deserving of the king treatment. That I agree. We get ourselves into trouble by doing that.
And vice versa.
And men also, you feel that as well?
Yeah, a lot of men do. You know, they call them simps or whatever, but, you know, a man that caters to a woman right off rip, you know, same thing.
Right,
You
exactly.
giving her
same thing. It's the same thing. It's like a poker game.
Dan Brio, you're right.
It's a poker game. You know, it's a poker game. It's definitely a poker game.
I think that if the energy is there,
right,
and it's not like, it has to be a balance. It can't be I'm giving, and you're just taking and you aren't giving anything back. That man, that's a red flag, y'all. Like, get out of that. If you are always the one that's giving.
But see, and the thing with that, right? On both sides, both people, you know, like you said, you're giving. You're supposed to be. I'm not even gonna say it 50-50 because maybe one person don't have it, right? Say you guys go out on a date and she's paying for everything. Just started out, just paying for everything. You know, you don't even have a chance to come out your pocket. Oh, I got this, you know, and it's not even about who has what. You know, it's just you guys are this together. And whoever started paying, I'm not saying they should, you know, continue paying, but 9 times out of 10, it's an issue on, you know, why aren't you paying? So if you started paying,
let me ask y'all, do y'all,
and if you want your money back, I give it to you back.
Thank you, Dan Brielle. This is a great topic. So what are your thoughts as far as that? And anybody in the chat, feel free to chime in. Do you believe that if you go out, do you believe in paying Dutch? Or should the man always pay, or it should be split sometimes? Because finances could be different. And a lot of situations, we have women that's making more money than some men at times.
That's true, but you don't know what's in somebody's pocket. So if they start paying, right, you're under the assumption, hey, this you know, this date is on them. Not until they say, you know, which is going to kind of like throw a wedge in whatever you guys are doing that day. Hey, you know, aren't you going to pay for something? Now that's the issue.
I think that
you started doing something, right? You started doing something, and I should, you know, continue on doing it. Not that you should, but you know, at least one of one of the days should say, hey, I got this
I
or I
think that
got
should
that.
be
I don't
discussed
want
at
to look
the.
like look. If I'm paying
And
for something, I'm just paying for something. I don't want nothing said. Not that it should be said. I feel comfortable like that because I'm old school.
right,
Okay.
that should be discussed at the beginning, the initial conversation. I think either
I
discussed
I
or
would I would have to
whoever.
disagree with you on that
I
one,
was
bro, because that one that's gonna throw a monkey wrench in
well,
it, bro.
yeah,
I
well, I
mean,
mean,
later
now
on, if you all want to bring that up and be like, yo, can I
if
get my money back?
if you
Um,
can't, I feel like if you can't have an honest conversation about what the two people are doing, I don't know. I think that would be a problem off rip anyway. But I think
yeah,
that if whoever whoever initiates the event should be
right.
the
There
one
you
that's
go.
paying for it.
There
Like
you
if you
go.
say, "Hey, I
There you
want to
go.
take you out," then I think it
Right.
would be correct to
Right.
assume that it's being paid for whoever said that. So if a
There
girl
you go.
says
There
to
you
me,
go.
"Yo, I
That's
want
what
to take
I
you out,"
that's what I say. Yeah.
yeah, then I'm gonna assume that okay, well then you must be paying for this. And if I say, "Yo, I want to take you somewhere, or whatever," then it's on me.
Right.
Yeah. Dambriel said you should always offer. It should never be he, she always pay. Yeah,
Right.
I agree. Like if I am old school and I am not gonna lie, like if I I do
Yeah.
want the man to pay most of the time, but not to say that I
Mhm.
won't. And that's just because I'm old school.
Right. Let it be
Um
offered. Let it be offered.
yeah,
Like, oh, I
but
got
I
it. Don't worry, I got it. I'm already over here. I got it.
Yeah, but I would
Mm.
also offer to pay. Like I don't want him to feel like he has to do it all the time. Like I want, I want to take you out sometimes as well. But I'd say the balance has to be. I don't know because I'm old school, y'all. I really
Yeah,
am.
yeah, me too. That's what it is.
I'm
Yeah,
old
that's what it is
school.
with me. You know what I mean? I can
Yeah,
see the 70-30 in that. I can see
yeah,
the 70-30 in that.
yeah. And even as far as buying gifts and stuff, like I love catering to my man, and that's probably again the way I was raised because I saw my mom do it. Like she brought my stepfather his plate. She did the cooking. She did the
Right,
clean. She
right.
did all of that. So I just fall in line with that. And I don't know, it makes me feel good to know that I'm making him feel good,
Right,
being
right.
supportive and stuff like that. Um, yeah,
Then
I
you
don't
got a
know.
lot of women. Yeah, you got not to cut you off. You get a lot of women. I made it. Get up and get it your damn self. Now, why would I want to eat it? What's going on with that? After you done said that, why would I want to eat that? What's in it? What's in it? Why you not bringing it? You don't want to.
Now, let me ask y'all this: would y'all bring y'all woman food? Would y'all bring if she cooked?
All the time.
Would you?
All the
Would
time.
you?
All the
Yeah,
time. All the time.
yeah.
All the
Sit down,
time.
baby. I
All
got
the
this.
time. All the time. I have bought stuff from
Jay,
Brooklyn
you're
all the way to
laughing.
Manhattan. All the time. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely
All the
agree.
time.
Yeah.
I think that it really depends. Like the poll said, it really depends because you don't want to fall into a trap where you are starting to feel resentful because and this is for men and women, where you're always the one giving. Dambria, I think that she would say it's okay to buy him gifts because to show he's appreciated. Yes, like that. That's what I love to do. Like, man, like, baby, I appreciate you so much. Let me get you this because I appreciate what you are doing, especially if a person sees
Right.
you,
Right.
like see this crown that I got on my head and treat me as such. Don't,
Mm-hmm.
you got some, like I've dated people who've just felt entitled. Just entitled, and you aren't even doing anything. Like, why do you feel
Right.
entitled
Right.
just because
Yeah.
you're a guy? Like that,
Right.
what are you doing? You got to earn
Nothing.
the cost to be the boss. My mom
Yeah.
always
Yeah. Right.
said. I want you to be the boss, but you're not just gonna get that title.
Gotta
You
earn
got
that.
to earn the cost to be the boss. Everybody, you
Yeah.
got to
Right.
earn it.
You already
And
come in the secretary mode.
what about as far as bills? And this kind of goes into that. Do you as men, and you both have been with, do you feel as though the bill should be split? Like, who is it? Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union, they split everything down 50%. Do you think that's fair?
I mean, if it works, you know, you got that type of money, and that's agreeable, you know, I think so. But my dad, he always took the bulk of it. You know, he would be like, you know, your shoe thing and all that other purse thing, that's on you. But everything else I got.
Jay, you're shaking your head.
Nah, well, you got to do whatever works for the two of you, whoever the two people are. I mean, there might be a point in time where the man loses his job, and
you know,
and the girl might come from a wealthy family, you know, or a man
he
might be full of wealth and she might be homeless. I mean, who knows what the situation is? You got to do what works with you too.
Yeah, I feel like some men aren't comfortable in that role though, where they not dependent. You think that?
Yeah, absolutely. Because like I said earlier, you know, as the natural need to be a leader in the household, a man, it's going to be hard for him with his pride and ego to accept the fact that he's got to take a step back and let the woman do what she's doing, even if it's just temporary. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be permanent, but you never know. So
man, that's when you swallow that pride. What's wrong with you, nah, bro?
Things happen, you know. So you got to take a step back.
Yeah, things happen, you know, and you know everything's changed. I mean, like I say, you take the 70-30 on that.
Right.
You do the bulk, you know, if she can do whatever inside, that's fine. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I used to think like that myself, that I was entitled. Oh, thank you so much for sharing that. Is that Dambrielle as well that said that? Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for sharing that, because a lot of people feel like that, men and women. Because I know some women who feel entitled and feel like they aren't supposed to bring anything to the relationship. It just blows my mind, and I'll be like, what, you know, well, that's the type of woman you like. That's the type of woman you like, but just know what you are getting into.
Yeah.
Just know, because it's not all about the bedroom, you know, about, you know, men pay a mortgage, women pay small bills, old school. If I can afford, if not, roles vice versa. And the woman, the breadwinner, that's what works in their home. Yes, Dambrielle. Yeah.
Right there. There you go. Yep. There you go. Right there. Yep.
Yeah. I agree.
That right there, that works. That works. Whoever Facebook user is, that works.
Do y'all see those type of traditions are leaving, and it probably is based off of each individual, because the roles are changing.
I wouldn't be able to deal with that.
You said you wouldn't be able to deal with that?
Nah, man pays mortgage and woman pays what? Small bills. Like that's not going to work, because I mean, if you're paying small bills, like say Netflix, you know, there's a whole bunch of different problems with that. You know, what if the man doesn't watch Netflix and the woman's paying Netflix for her? You know what I'm saying? What do I got to do with my life? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I feel like y'all got to figure out what work with y'all. You know what I'm saying?
If everything goes south, you wind up with the house. It works. Trust me, it works. It works. That right there, it works. Facebook user, it works.
Yeah.
She walks with the Netflix, you keep the house, and you move it along.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
It works, man. That right there works.
That is funny.
Put a pin in that post right there. Yeah, that works.
I'm gonna keep that one.
She winds up with Netflix. You get the house.
That is too funny.
She's walking around with a Netflix phone.
So, roles type. Yeah, the roles have definitely been reversed, and a lot of I look at like my kids growing up, and they're grown and dating now, and the roles have definitely reversed. A lot of independence, and not even settling down. I think like the word marriage is just out the door nowadays with a lot of the millennials and stuff. Like, people aren't getting married anymore. People are just not getting married. And
I mean, it's a piece of paper, but aren't you married if you're in a relationship more than 10, 15 years? Aren't you married?
7.
Married?
7 years.
There you go, right? So, you know, there you go.
Would you be in a relationship for over 7 years and not be married?
I have been. I have
Yeah.
been.
Yeah. What about you, Jay? Do you think that that's if you want to get married? Like, would you
Mhm.
be? I know people that have been together 25 years and never got married.
Yeah, yeah, I know people like that too.
Man,
Yeah. I used to
no,
think it
no.
was weird. Now it's like, I guess to each his own.
Nah, it's
Mhm.
more like a business. I mean, because
Mm.
the paper just makes it legal, and it's a business. Tax write off, everything y'all do. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's just for the state. It's not for the relationship. It's just for the state. We want our money.
Right.
Yeah.
Y'all got it going on. Both of y'all work. We need our taxes, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all it's about. Yeah. It's
Big
like an LLC. It's a
mix.
license, right? I
It is a
mean,
contract.
there you go.
That's true.
There you go.
That's true. That's
Line on the
true.
dotted line.
Mm, I'll pass.
Well, well, there's a little bit of news that I wanted to talk about as well. So, and this is being reported by the Buffalo News. David Lettieri, and he's a registered sex offender. He is suing over mustard packs. He has 51 lawsuits out right now. So he is facing anywhere from 10 years to life in prison. He's in Buffalo, and he was convicted of enticing a minor. Uh,
Wow.
so he's currently serving time in Youngstown, Ohio. He's awaiting sentencing, but he wants the federal courts to examine the nutritional information on mustard and ketchup packets. So he has filed lawsuits in Ohio and New York. He complained that the ketchup and mustard packets that he was being given in his prison meals did not include sodium amounts or other nutritional information. And then there's a third lawsuit that he has, that he said he couldn't tell what spices are in a whole bag of whole shebang potato chips. Do y'all think that's ridiculous and they are just wasting time? Or do you think as a
Uh,
citizen he has every right to sue to make these suits come about?
and this and this guy's a pedophile.
Yeah, exactly.
So the
Exactly.
salt made him do it. Yeah, okay.
The lack of salt, the lack
Low
of
sodium, right?
salt
Low
made
sodium in
him
my
do
diet.
it.
Yeah, there you go. Low sodium in my diet had me feeling weird.
So, one other question, because I know we're going to be getting off in a little while. So, when COVID happened, they had a lot of different programs, and one of the programs that they made available to small businesses were the PPP loans. Did y'all know people who were getting those PPP loans and did not use the money as
Oh
they were
yeah,
supposed to?
yeah,
People
exactly.
were
Yeah, I
buying
mean,
cars and stuff,
balling, ballers,
going on vacations. People were
big old
balling like this
chains.
money
Yeah, what?
was going
Yeah,
to keep replenishing itself.
all that.
So, and again, this is being reported by the Buffalo News. Two brothers who admitted to filing fraudulent applications for forgivable PPP loans spent the money on their own investments. I mean, they in
Hmm.
personal expenses. At least they did something. They invested the money into home improvements. So
Right.
Larry Jordan, 45 of Lancaster, and Satuk L, 41 of Buffalo, also known as Curtis Jordan, pled guilty this past Thursday to conspiracy to commit bank fraud and wire fraud. Um, Between April and September 2020, Jordan and L conspired to submit 8 fraudulent PPP loan applications on behalf of companies they owned and controlled. The PPP loans were getting out of hand. Ooh,
Yeah.
people were making up businesses, saying that,
I mean,
and
all they
then
had to
legit
do is start.
businesses I know weren't able to get the PPP loans. That's what's
Yeah,
crazy to me.
exactly, right. I mean, they should have just started using those little places they fixing up on some business stuff. Y'all get some like, tax write-offs on that. Have them people come into
Mm-hmm,
work right in the
mm-hmm.
living room. Everybody get a chair.
What were your thoughts on the PPP loans, Jay?
Can y'all hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my mic keep going on. Yeah, hey man, I respect anybody who did something with those, but at the end of the day, man, I don't know. It's hard because fraud is fraud. Like, you're taking away from people who really, need that. They
Yeah.
created those programs for people who really need that. So, and it hurts everybody. It's just like in school, the bad kids, the two bad kids do something, the whole class got to pay for it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but I do respect anybody who did their thing off of that. I mean, I do know a couple people who did start some businesses off of it. Good for them. But
Yeah.
They came up. Yeah.
yeah.
I know people that actually came up and still, I mean, they took that money and did something with it, which
Right.
I respect. I respect that. But I know a lot of people who also took that money and were balling.
Right.
There you go. Right. Still
And now
balling,
they're
man.
broke. And
Yeah.
now
Right,
they're
right, right.
broke.
Where that money gone?
Which
No
made no sense
businesses,
to
money
me.
gone. None.
Man, give me $100,000 and watch what I do into this business.
Yeah. For real, right?
Man, people, it. I don't know why some people, and I guess this is that mindset thing. Some people really thought that, I don't know, like taking those vacations and stuff were going to, like, I don't know, like what is your thought process to think if you don't have money coming in
Mhm.
and you're taking vacations as if you hit the lotto or something, or you're
Right.
taking vacations as if this is a profit. It was more of a loss to you. Now you're broke and you're borrowing money from people, and you just had
Yeah.
$500,000 2 years ago.
Instant
Yeah. Don't you gotta pay that
gratification.
money back?
Instant gratification. Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So before we shut down, there's a street out here called Lombard next to the Broadway Market. The Broadway Market, Big Mike, is like a huge, like not like a flea market, but you go there, you buy your groceries. There's a bunch of meat markets there. There's different ethnic vendors there.
Okay.
It's just one of those areas. And next to the Broadway Market, and Jay, I don't know if you heard about this, they found a whole bunch of guns. Now, this seems weird. Like, what were the police? The police were going to, so the story reads that the police were going to put wood on, because it was an abandoned building apparently. And when they were going to lock down the building, they recovered weapons that included a New Haven 410 shotgun, 2 AK-47 style rifles, one which was defaced, a Rome RG-14 revolver, a Glock 29 9mm pistol, Springville Armory 9mm pistol, and also seized a Ruger LCP 380 pistol. It was like an armory in this house. It was like an armory in this house. Like, all of that could have been on the streets of Buffalo. And it is on the streets in Buffalo, because that was just a small amount.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know,
That's
y'all.
crazy. That's crazy.
I'm looking at these pictures, and it is so crazy that all of this, like, why do we need AK-47s, y'all? Where was all of this armory when hate came to Buffalo on May 14th and shot up Tops Market? That's my question. Like, y'all so quick to go kill each other out here in the streets, but y'all will let some fool come up into a supermarket and shoot over 10 people. Help me understand that reasoning, y'all.
That's
I mean,
crazy
listen,
right there, yeah.
I don't get it. Y'all so quick to kill each other. So quick to kill each other. But God forbid. So
that Broadway Market got it going on, boy. I got everything over there. I know that. Wow.
Yeah, so I don't know what Jews would y'all like to leave our listeners with today as we close out?
I mean, like I always say, hey, you can't do it, let God do it. Stay prayed up. All we can do is what we can do.
If you can't do it, okay, I see it now. If you can't do it, let God do it. Okay. That's true. That's true. Uh, Jay, what would you like to leave our listeners with today?
Oh man, same thing I always say, man. Just believe in yourself, man. Can't really wait or sit around hoping that other people believe in you. You know what I'm saying? That's just gonna
Definitely
stagnate
that.
your
Definitely that.
success. And just keep in mind that the greater the adversary, the in adversities, the greater the success.
Mm, mm. I'm receiving that, and I'm sure there's people on the live that receive that because so many of us are going through some tumultuous times right now. I know
Right, right.
people who are jobless. We just had a plant here that employed many of the residents of Lackawanna and Buffalo. It's like the steel
Mhm.
plant shutting down again. It was called the Republic Steel. They just shut down. So there's hundreds of people in our community right now without jobs.
Wow.
Hundreds of he's bored, Tamara said. Yeah, hundreds of people without jobs right now. So there's so many of us going through it, and that's true, Jay. Um, because a lot of us, and I've been known to do this myself too. When things get hard, I start to slow down, and my fear is to not shut down or let my dream die away because it's so easy to get caught up in the situation.
Right.
That's why it's
Mhm.
so important to have people to speak life into you. And I'm speaking to myself and other people on this live who may be going through it right now. When you are
Yeah.
going through tumultuous times or challenging times, what you don't want to do is surround yourself by negative people. You want to surround yourself with people who are going to unapologetically help you without even asking permission, not even asking your permission, just saying, you know what, I see you're struggling in this area, let me assist you, or even speak
Right.
life into you. You do
Right.
not want to be around negative people when you're going through it, because that is just going to make you stop. And when you stop, that means your dream stops. Your dream is on hold. Remember, the Most High God gave us all of these abilities, and in order to get them brought out, we have to go through the mess. We have to dig through the dirt and go through that adversity, even when it hurts. I've cried so many
Definitely
tears.
that.
Ooh wee. But you need people around you that can listen, and you need people that can believe in you when you not even believing in you. Thank you, Big Mike and Jay. Even when I'm, just help me.
Yeah.
Believe in you when you aren't even believing in you. Just remind you of
Mhm.
who God has called you to be.
Yeah.
That's my
Definitely
nugget
that.
for the day, everybody. Just
Definitely
believe in
that.
yourself and watch your circle.
Oh yeah. Definitely that one.
Watch your circle. Watch your circle.
Definitely
So
that one.
we'll be back tomorrow morning, same time. If you would like to be a guest co-host on the 716 Live Morning Show, you can hit myself up or Jay Heat or D'Amica. Let us know that you would like to come on and guest co-host. I love when we have guest co-hosts. It's so bomb. It's been a minute since we've been
Yeah.
on camera together, Big Mike.
Yeah. Y'all got that little warm vibe, right? Yeah. Definitely that.
Ah, 716 Live is the bomb. Come on over. Come on
Yeah,
over
no
and join
doubt.
the
I'm on my way.
family.
I'm on my way, man. I'm on my way. I'm up the route from Brooklyn. I got to
Come
go.
on now. Come on. We got a
I got
space
to
for
go.
you. You can come build your own set out. We can have Brooklyn of the Brown Table right here in Buffalo.
Right, right.
Man, you ain't got to tell me twice.
Bring
Hey,
Brooklyn to Buff.
Bring
you already
Brooklyn,
know.
right. Bring Brooklyn
You
to
already
Buff.
know.
All
You
right,
already
everybody.
know.
Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day on purpose. I love y'all long life. And make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend that you have been tapped in and tuned in with 716 Live, the fastest growing media company right here in the 716. Stop hating on us. Stop sleeping on us. They
Oh, they ain't
recognize it.
sleeping. They feeling y'all out here. Trust that.
They feeling it, bro. They feeling it.
What? Yeah, man.
we we we
Yeah,
we
man.
about to make them believers. We
Oh,
we
yeah.
about to make them believers. So
Definitely
y'all have
that.
a
Definitely
wonderful,
that.
wonderful on purpose, everybody, and give us some love. Tell us where you are tuning in from. If you are tuning in outside of, or even just tell us what area code you're tuning in from. So even on the replay, everybody, have a wonderful day on purpose.
All righty.
Peace.